We all do it. Anytime we want to buy a product or figure out where to go, we just hop on Google, enter a quick search in, and we make our decision based on the results. Research shows that actually close to 100% of all consumers research potential buying options online before they make a buying decision. And an even more significant figure is that 72% of potential buyers or consumers make a buying decision online before they even pick up the phone or visit a store. So I want you to put yourself in the shoes of a small business owner for a moment. You have a great product, and your company is growing, but maybe not at the rate that the quality of your product would warrant. And the reason for this is online promotion. You don't have the resources like a large company does to hire a full-time marketing and writing staff to make sure your online presence is reaching its users. So what makes it even more difficult for small companies to reach users online is that the way that search engine optimization works is that if you're not one of the top few results on Google, you're not going to reach your user base. So if you look at this graphic, actually it's a breakdown of the percentage click-through rates based on your ranking in Google. So if you're the first result, you generate a third of the click-throughs. And that number drops off really rapidly. So if you're not in the top 5 or 6 results, you're not going to get very many click-throughs. And so in addition to this, the game of SEO is changing. So in the past, Google's really been based on quantity. And you could hire, like small businesses could hire cheap labor that could just type in keywords and just change data and just change your website. But now it's much more based, the algorithm is much more intelligent, and it's based on professional level results. And that makes it really hard for small businesses to compete with large corporations. So right now, small businesses really have 2 options. They can go in-house and they can hire somebody, and they can bring someone, take their valuable time away, and they might not have a background in SEO. Or they can hire an outside consultant, a consultant that's probably very costly and that has inconsistent results. But there's a third option, and that option is ProRight. So ProRight is going to change the SEO game for small businesses, and here's how it works. So our team has already gotten a pool of professional writers in our network together, and through our cloud interface, those writers are going to post profiles. And they'll have ranks there, they'll have resumes, sample projects, rates, and companies can go on our interface and select a writer. Once they've selected a writer, they'll pay for that project and writer that they selected, and that money will be held in escrow. They'll connect with that writer, they'll describe the project specifically and make sure they're on the same page. Then there'll be the idea phase where the writer sort of comes up with their first attempt at the project, and there's a collaboration. And once the company is satisfied with the product that writer has created, they'll okay it, and the money will be released to the writer. And then the companies will go back and rate the writers based on the quality of service that they've received. And using that data, ProRight will be able to ensure quality control and make sure that our writers are up to the standard that we expect. So in terms of recruiting writers, after we've established this initial pool, we've already collected the initial pool our team has. We're going to start off just by continuing to expand locally just within our network. And once our writers have an established experience with clients, they've worked with enough clients, we'll be able to establish our expert writers. So we'll assign expert writer status to writers who are the highest performers, receive the highest ranks. And those writers will have the autonomy and the responsibility of recruiting other writers in their network that they want to bring on to ProRight. And they'll be incentivized to do this by receiving a potential equity or portion of the money that the writers that they recruit. So a crowdsourcing model, this lends itself very well to scalability. And this will allow us to really just focus in-house on quality control once the crowdsourcing model takes over. So in terms of market, so small companies, 1 to 100 employees, the vast majority of companies right now don't have a website. But even if they do have a website, as I showed you earlier, if they're not in the top 5 or 6 results on Google, they're not going to get click-throughs and they're not going to get the most benefit out of their website. And this service transcends industries. Every single service, every single company, they require an online presence to reach the vast majority of their users. There's also a lot of international opportunity in emerging markets, particularly in markets where business owners really know very little about SEO. We can make tremendous inroads in developing user bases in emerging markets. And we also want to market to quality writers. We want to ensure professionalism, and by instituting a strict price floor, we're going to pay our writers like professionals because they produce professional level content. So overall, the business model, we're going to have low overhead. Once we've gotten through the initial development of the interface, and also once we've established the initial pool of writers, the crowdsourcing model is going to take over. From there, we're just going to ensure high quality control by using our data from our ratings, and also by instituting a strict price floor, make sure writers are paid well. And from there, We're going to emphasize rapport building. We want to make sure we get a lot of repeat business. We want businesses to work with writers that they like and come back and keep working with those writers. And finally, we want to have an inviting interface. We want to make our interface is going to ensure that every business owner, regardless of technical background, can work with us. We want to make sure that we don't limit it to writers who can work in a complex interface. We want to make sure writers that want to access that nearly 100% of users who research online have the opportunity to do so. So with your financial backing, ProRight will have the opportunity to deeply disrupt the market for search engine optimization in small businesses. So if you have any questions on the business model or anything else in the presentation, I'd be happy to elaborate. Thank you.
What is your background? Are you a writer? Have you published things? What brings you to this party?
Yeah, so I've done a lot of technical writing in my background. I have a lot of experience writing. I've worked in marketing as well, and I understand there's a lot of bad marketing that goes on. So I sort of came up with this idea by working in my own startup, or working in startups in the past, where they would usually just assign someone in the office to be like, okay, you go ahead and you do SEO, even if they didn't have any experience in the past. So often you get low-level results, and what happens online is bad writing lasts forever. It doesn't go away. So you want to make sure that the writing, that presence you have online is good from the start. And so that's really where this service, that value proposition for this service comes from.
Can you explain again what exactly these writers will be writing and how it'll benefit SEO?
Yeah, so the idea is we want to really market towards SEO, but our writers are going to come from diverse backgrounds. They're professional and they're market, so there's a lot of market out there of unemployed, like consultants or temp workers, and by being a part of our service, they'll have an access to all the clients that use us. And those writers will have a variety. They'll post profiles, right? So they'll have resumes, they'll have sample works, they'll have experience, and they'll have projects that they're optimized for that they want to work with. So we'll have writers focusing on SEO. We'll have writers focusing on website development, website marketers. We'll focused on just a very wide range of services that our clients can access.
Okay, so these are writers, and they're writing anything from blog posts to website content?
Exactly. It's not just about websites. That's very true. So it's social marketing, it's social media, blogging, any way to generate users and excitement and clicks online. That's what we want to market towards. So, thanks for the question. All right. Appreciate your time. Thanks.